This is why you died.
Hello again and welcome to This Is Why You Died, the horror show from beyond the grave and the outer limits of reality. And as always, I am Surrey and Dangerous, aka your Uncle Frank, and joining me, as always, are the monster man himself, Dan Marcha Madness, and the guy who was the killer all along, Ryan Ross Live. How we doing, gentlemen? Welcome to the show.
Great.
I love that title. Yeah, I'm with that one.
That fits you because those Boy Scouts, man.
Oh my God. I'm never going to live this down.
You're not, and neither are those Boy Scouts because they didn't live. We are the show where random prompts are drawn from among the 666 prompts in the buckets of the beast. And based on those prompts, we are inspired to choose horror movies, new or old, and then return here and discuss them with you fine people. And once again, we have come back with prompts in hand, with movies watched to discuss this week. This week, actually, it is Dan Marcha Madness's
My turn.
choice. But before we get to your pick, Dan, boys, I just wanted to catch up with you. Anything new we want to discuss? How is life treating you these days?
I have a story.
Oh,
so
story time with Ryan.
You guys have heard a little
Story
bit
time with Ryan.
You guys have heard a little bit of this already, but so a little bit ago, we had a bit of a disaster at our household where so we have two cats, Nix and Nova. Those who've seen on video sometimes see them in the background. They like to wrestle. They're siblings. They mess around. We have a sliding glass door with a screen door. And we had the sliding glass door open and the screen door shut for breeze. And I was up here chilling, actually just relaxing. And Sasha was down in the living room with the cats and they were wrestling, whatever. They rolled under the curtain and managed to hit the sliding door during wrestling in such a way that they knocked it open. And because Sasha was down there and they'd wrestle all the time, Sasha didn't notice that they had actually impacted the door. So they both ended up getting out because out of the two, Nova is much more curious. She's the one who always is first to investigate. She's jumpy but brave. She'll jump, but she'll keep she's the first one to warm up to people, to investigate, whatever. Whereas Nix is a lot more will hang back and observe before he goes out. The door happened to be open for over 20 minutes. Nova went out right away. And Nix watched her from the door. We have cameras. We could see that he was in the doorway under the curtain watching for almost 10 minutes before he also ventured outside. And unfortunately, Sasha was just distracted and did not notice. But Nova ended up barreling back in and then started to venture out a second time. And there are some stray cats in the area. And she started hissing at some of the stray cats on our porch, which is what caught Sasha's attention because she heard the hissing. And so then she comes and pulls the curtain back and sees that the door's open and Nova's outside and managed to get Nova back in. But then she goes looking for Nix and Nix has been out for almost 10 minutes. So, and this was at 11 p.m. We're out, we're shaking treats, we're calling his name. We spent almost 3 hours out looking for him and we decided to put up posters. We're concerned where he is. We're like, okay, he's very food oriented. Maybe he'll come back for breakfast. Neither of us sleep well. He doesn't end up coming back in the morning. And that Saturday, we were just a wreck. Because she's very quick to emotion and I tend to be fix-it logical in crisis moments, but then we'll reverse. And then after the crisis has settled, then I get more emotional and she becomes more fix-it logical, which is good, but also rough in situations like this. And so Saturday, we were just both a mess. Hey, buddy, speaking of.
Speaking of which?
Good,
you talking about me?
Happy ending. He doesn't come back all day. We're a total wreck. We go out at dinner time thinking okay, maybe there's one last chance that we can get him. One of our neighbors feeds all the stray cats in the area. And we were okay, she happened to be out in the driveway area. I'm I'm going to go talk to her to see if she's seen him. She only speaks Spanish. So I was translating on my phone and Sasha's walking up in the driveway, shaking treats and hears a meow from inside an engine block of one of our neighbor's cars. And we come down there and we're like, okay, like it sounds like him. And he ends up peeking his head out from under the engine block. And we're like, oh my God, he's in the engine block. And so
Oh my God.
I like go to knock on their door. We're trying to get the hood open. They end up coming home we've peeled their car cover off and Sasha's actively trying to open their hood. And they pull up and are like, what are you doing to our car? And we're like, our cat is in your engine. And so they end up having to lift the car. I had to crawl underneath its side face and like pull him out of the engine block. But we got him home. He's about to knock stuff over. Don't be a punk. He is home. All is well. But it was a bit of an adventure. So there's the excitement at the Sasha and Ryan, the Casa de Rock Tot, if you will.
Wow.
One more reason I'm glad I have a pit bull who's scared of everything outside. Well, I'm glad to hear that everything's safe, but it wouldn't be a week at Ryan's house if he wasn't out chasing pussy all over the neighborhood.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
I couldn't. It was right there. I couldn't help it.
Calling out into the night.
Yeah.
Shaking treats.
Pussy.
Oh my
Here,
God.
pussy.
Putting up posters.
Putting up.
Pussy posters?
Jesus.
Have you seen my pussy?
It's a good thing. Sasha's got a good sense of humor. But speaking of doors, we gotta move on quick before we really get in trouble here. Speaking of opening doors that weren't supposed to be open, this week on this show about horror movies, Dan Marcha Madness, you have
Oh,
doors that should not be opened. You picked a movie that's all about doors that shouldn't be opened, being opened, gates into another world. Would you like to explain what your prompt was and what your movie was before we get canceled from every single platform that we're on?
My prompt was Italian filmmaker Lucio Fulci. Is that how you say it correctly?
Yes.
Yes.
Ah.
And so honestly, I hadn't seen any Fulci. It's
Bad
sad to
horror
say.
fan.
Bad horror fan. Yeah.
Bad.
And
Shocker.
so I like.
Neither had I.
Well, that's not a huge shocker, right?
You're the horror initiate. That's okay.
I just kind of like, I was like looking around, like what's the kind of go-to Fulci movie if you haven't seen Fulci, and everything pointed to The Beyond. So I chose The Beyond, and that is what we experienced and are here to talk about.
Yes.
And it is something.
It is something.
Movie.
Yeah, Lucio Fulci, known for extreme gore and somewhat more poetic, maybe experiential takes on horror movies. He started off in giallo before going into more varied subgenres of horror. He became really famous with Zombie 2, which was a pseudo prequel sequel to Dawn of the Dead, Romero's Dawn of the Dead, kind of a sister movie to that. But he got known for doing just extreme gore scenes. And the thing that I always was like, when I was raised, and the way I could tell him apart from a lot of his contemporaries was he was the guy who had a thing for eyes.
Oh yeah.
Eye horror. He loves to fuck with eyes.
Yeah.
Lucio Fulci. But The Beyond is no different. I think that was a great call to pick that one. 1981's The Beyond, part of his Gates of Hell trilogy, along with House by the Cemetery and City of the Living Dead.
Oh.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Let's talk about
Real
this
quick,
movie.
Before we jump in, you used for the new guy. You said he started in giallo. Giallo?
Yes, giallo. Yeah.
Do you not know what that is, sir?
I do not.
That's okay. Let's take a moment. Let's talk about giallo. Giallo was the easiest way to kind of translate that is it literally means yellow. And it's because there were like pulp books that were published after World War II in Italy, and the paper that they were on was very cheap, and they had yellow spines on them. And they were typically always like, murder mysteries or like noir, like the or slasher, like early forms of slashers. And I think the slasher genre in general kind of came out of, in part, giallo books, which then were made into movies. And a lot of times were very crime-based. But sometimes supernatural elements would come in. And there's a lot of giallo crossover later on with supernatural elements. So giallo filmmakers were guys who were making like crime movies, murder mysteries, that sort of thing. And then it just sort of evolved into being one of the horror genres because a lot of times they would be very violent in the ways that they depicted death. And then sexuality as well, because sex sells. So Fulci moved from crime into more supernatural stuff like The Beyond, which we were here to discuss today.
Got it. Thank you.
So, absolutely. So we've established that neither of you guys have watched any Fulci before. I've only seen The Beyond, I think, 2 or 3 times before. That's because...
That's a number of times.
Well,
but it's also fewer than Ian's norm, I think, for these type of movies. That's pretty low.
It's probably second only to Zombie 2. I've seen Zombie 2 more times than The Beyond for Fulci, but most of his other stuff, I haven't seen a lot of Fulci too many times. So, but The Beyond's up there. But it's because it was really hard to get your hands on The Beyond when I was young. In the 80s, it had been released in America, but in a truncated, R-rated version. It was a video nasty in England and had been edited as well and was rated X. And I don't think an uncut version came out in the US until the mid-90s, I want to say. Okay. And so to see The Beyond in its full, uncut, gory glory, it wasn't until a little bit later that you were able to watch it. I think the first time that I ever saw the full version was in college during our 72-hour film fest, which I was in charge of, when we'd pick 72 hours worth of films and show 72 hours straight of movies.
Oh man, that's
in our big
this explains
central
so much.
projection.
Of course you were in charge of the college 72-hour film festival. Of course you were.
But yeah, so now this is the full uncut version, which brings me to my next question. What version of this movie did you boys watch? There's the full unrated cut, which I think is mostly what's out there right now. There's the English dub, there's the Italian dub. What did you guys check out?
Mine was in English.
Mine was also in English. Mine was the rating that it gave it was NC-17.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and it looked like they were speaking English and the English was sort of matching. Like it was a little off.
The whole film was ADR'd, right? It had to be.
Yeah.
Whole thing was dubbed. They didn't even give a crap about recording dialogue apparently on the set.
I don't think any sound in this movie was recorded on camera. I think every sound was Foley and a booth.
That's I think you're right.
You're right. Yeah.
I don't even have to check, like I don't have to go look online to find out. I think that's that's a given. That's a given. So you guys watched the English dub of this movie. So let's get into it. What did we think of The Beyond? Dan, this was your movie. This is your first Fulci, your first foray into the Fulci. What were your initial takes on The Beyond?
Well, I think, Ian, you probably think I'm going to tear this movie apart.
I was waiting for it.
But honestly, I enjoyed it because I saw so many elements in this movie that I feel like current filmmakers have taken from and I was like put little pieces. There was like the opening sequence reminded me of a current fantastic horror film. There was little edits that reminded me of like Zach Kreger's stuff. So there was just things that I was like, I feel like even though a lot of it didn't make any sense at all as I was watching, like it didn't feel like the narrative ever like really connected for me. It just felt like a scene to a scene to a scene to a scene but I felt like there was some, like it had made an impact on the current state of horror. Yeah. And the future generations of horror. So that's what I really enjoyed about watching it. And like, there was still some mystery to it. And I love the whole like haunted hotel vibe of everything going on. So like there was things that I really did enjoy about it, but there was things that I just thought were ridiculous. Some of the dialogue was just ridiculous. It's just like, oh my God, we could get into that. But overall, I was going to go into it, especially, after the opening sequence, I was like, I don't know if I'm really going to like this movie. But towards the end, I was like, this is as bad as I expected. This isn't as crazy as I thought it was going to be. And there was one scene that I actually had to close my eyes and I was not watching it. I was just listening to it.
Well, before we tell what scene that is, I don't think we did the spoiler warning. My bad. So,
No, we haven't covered anything specific yet, so we're good.
No, nothing specific.
That's right. No, we're still good. We've only wet the whistle. If you haven't watched The Beyond, now you know that Dan liked it. So go watch The Beyond, come back. We're about to spoil some stuff. For example, what was the scene? Yeah. Enjoy us just talking about a movie you've never seen.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know how listen to us.
Crazy. Everything's falling apart. Let's go nuts. Dan, what was the scene? What was the scene that made you cringe that you couldn't watch?
Well, Ryan might know this about me. Ian, I might have mentioned it on the show before, but I am arachnophobic. I do not like spiders.
Oh.
So as soon as I saw all those tarantulas walking towards this poor dude that's about to get eaten, I was like, nope, not going to look at it. I'm just going to listen to it.
No.
I'm not going to look at this.
Can we talk about the fact that they had like 2 spiders in the budget and a bunch of the other spiders are like these really bad puppets that are like,
I looked at, so I would like peek. I do like the peek thing. I was like, oh no. And I would see I was like, the spider legs don't do that.
Yeah.
But
there were a couple that were really bad.
And then I'd be like, they're reusing that shot a lot. The same shot over. It's like here's cut to this. Now cut the same shot. Same shot. It was like you could tell they were recycling. But the sound mixed with the movement, I just was not having. I was like, I'm gonna save myself from having these horrific nightmares about spiders crawling over me, and I'm just gonna listen. Which was also the sound design during that scene was really disgusting. Like the patter of the feet and the chewing and I was just like, ugh. Like, please move on from this. And it went on.
It's a long scene. He spent like 5 minutes on it.
Yeah. Fulci, that is definitely something that is a signature of his. He loves to drag out his gore scenes, and they're very slow as they progress, and they get worse worse.
This whole opening sequence, the whole opening title sequence is just this whole dude melting. It's just like, God.
Getting crucified to a wall and melting.
Is it boiling soap? Like, what do they pour him at the end there? I don't know, bubbles like it's soap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or some sort of building material that they have underneath the hotel over the mouth to hell.
They've
or
heated
whatever.
It up or whatever. It's very strange.
What we don't look for logic in this movie. Logic. This is dream logic in a Fulci film. It's like, there's a boiling pot of concrete right there that we're going to melt this guy's face with. There's a woman's going to trip and fall on her back, and a vat of acid's going to slowly pour onto her face and melt her face away. It's just go with it. That's absolutely. Sure, why not? The guy falls off the ladder because he gets hit with the whammy from whatever demonic psychic thing is in the booth.
There's lightning.
Here's the light. And he jumps off the ladder backwards, bonks his head, and is stuck there, immobile, while a horde of Muppet tarantulas attack him.
Looking at him.
That's the thing. So, yes, I know you guys watched this and saw the Muppet spiders and were like, look at these Muppet spiders. It's so completely unrealistic. That shit fucked me up, man. Like, that was super realistic for back in the day. I was like, the tarantulas were eating his eyeball.
I couldn't even watch the scene, even though parts that I did see, I was like, that's obviously fake. I'm still not looking at that.
Exactly.
This is wild because
it's so fake, I can't watch.
Out of the 3 of us, the fact that I was the one that was like, are you kidding me? This is wild to me. Because that scene, I was like, okay, so he falls off the ladder and then 8 tarantulas come out from under another bookcase and are just there and are hungry for human flesh. Sure.
It's from the beyond, sure. Man. They're from the beyond.
It's the beyond, baby. It's what happens in the beyond. Carnivorous tarantulas living in a Louisiana library just waiting to get you. Just in case you fall on your back. But no, Dan, you're right. The sound design on that scene is nuts. It's I wrote it down. It was squeaking glass, crumpling, kind of like a wet papery sound. There's a whispering. Yeah. You have someone going
the whispering
in the background.
Was messed up. Yeah.
There's a buzzing kind of synthesizer drone, and then disco music.
Yeah. The music coming in at certain times was not as bad as Cannibal for Rocks, but still kind of this doesn't really fit the scene. It's like guy crucified and then bow chicka bow wow chicka bow wow. It's like
I have things to say about the sound design. Let me tell you.
And those spiders were going to town on his face. I don't know if they were eating him or like making sweet, sweet love to his cheek, but the don't spider love. Yeah. I love this soundtrack overall by Fabio Frizzi. Like that piano line for most of it is, on the one hand, it's very plonk, 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 but it's also just a creepy piano line. Dun, 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 dun. I can't do it justice, but okay. So Ryan, you said you had a problem with the sound design. We're over here saying that I thought the soundtrack was great. Dan was saying it was effective. What were your issues with the sound design in the Beyond?
I think here's the thing. I think the music is good. I think that the songs are good. I think they are very poorly executed. Like not only to the point, like it seems like they put in any of the like funk as like what's meant to lighten a gore scene, which feels so anachronistic to what's going on and just feels really out of place. And you're like, what am I watching? But then on top of that, to your point, like the piano riff, very creepy, honestly not a bad horror theme, like overall pretty good. But they like it's over present. They tune it up too high compared to the mix or whatever. And so like it's really distracting because it doesn't feel like it's supporting the scene. It's distracting from the scene. And that happens the whole movie with all of the sound design, like we talked about the ADR, like the language, even just the syncing of them to their mouth movements and like the acting, like the sound was driving me nuts in this movie. But like, and there are elements that are good. The songs are good. The music is catchy. Like I don't think the soundtrack is a bad soundtrack. I think the soundtrack is poorly implemented within the film.
Okay, but to really like kind of criticize this movie, you have to compare it with its contemporaries. And one of its contemporaries was a movie that we've already done on this show, Cannibal Ferox, which we've had a lot of fun with over the months since we've watched it. But that was another one where one of our criticisms was the music was wildly out of place, but also killer. Like awesome music in a vacuum, but just kind of jarring with the movie. And I think that's the point I want to make is that for me watching this, as I've seen a bunch of other Italian horror films, I kind of just go, yeah, that's what the Italian horror films sound like. They've got this. That's the thing. You've got that kind of like funky jazz, whatever prog soundtrack.
That's totally fair. That doesn't make it good.
Well,
like, look, that could be the norm. Doesn't make it good.
It's what's the phrase? It's difficult to figure out whether to attribute to genius what one could easily attribute to incompetence.
Yeah,
and I think that might be.
I think it's malice is the quote, right? You can't attribute malice what's incompetence.
I'm tweaking it for this particular instance because because it's applicable. This is a movie where over the years people have been saying, you know, was Fulci really like deep and like having these deep thoughts and wanting to create this kind of vibe and this feel to this movie, or was it just him being like, I don't know, we film it there and then you film it there and just give me the shot. And just we got what we got. We got what we got. But I think that there's a lot of atmosphere in this movie that you can't say that he didn't know what he was doing. There's a lot of atmosphere and there's a lot of really chilling shit. The eyes, for example, like I think that the blind eyes that he has in this movie and the way that he deploys them with the characters into the camera, a lot of times it's creepy. Just the way that he has the characters kind of jump locations, especially at the end when they just can't escape the basement. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of that, especially for Fulci in this movie, it's not as incoherent as it would be if it was completely incompetent, if that makes sense.
I think those things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive either. I think that he can have really good ideas and executions in this movie, but also not necessarily know what he's doing with certain aspects of this movie. And like honestly, if like just to give my overarch here, I feel like I really wanted to like this movie. Honestly, I had the opposite reaction of Dan, Dan was like, at the beginning, I couldn't take it seriously. I was so in on the beginning. I was like, oh, you got like a prophecy and like a portals to hell and a warlock. Like, I'm in, man. Like, sign me up for the prophecy stuff. And then like, as the movie goes on, I was like, oh man, like it's not capitalizing on any of those things. But like, there are elements of this movie that are cool. And I don't think that like, it's necessarily like a bad, well, we'll save that for the end. I've got like, there are things I don't like about it. There are things that I like about it. The problem is I feel like it's just not a cohesive film. It's a little all over the place. And it tries to do a lot of different things, and it doesn't really do a lot of them well, but it does some things well.
What was the thing that it did well for you? What was something that you could say it nailed this aspect?
I think the creepy vibe of the film throughout is very good. I think they play, although I don't think that they do a great job explaining it, the psychological, like, is this true? Is this not? Like, what's going on? Like, how much of this is in her head versus real? Like, there's elements of that are cool, that are executed at least to a decent degree. And like the sense of unease and the sense of like what, like there's this hotel's built on this portal. Where are we going with this is pretty constant, and I think is done well. But a lot of the pieces of that puzzle along the way, I think, fall apart. And they never really, either they don't explain it, or they like try to do something with it, and then they just either like they don't touch it again, or what they do touch on isn't done to the effect that I think it could be. It's a very cool concept of a film that I just think is like, to your point, good ideas, poor execution. It can be both, right? He could have really good depth of concept and then poorly executed it out of not, I don't want to say ineptitude, that feels too harsh, but in terms of like ignorance or lack of experience.
Well, it certainly wasn't lack of experience. He was a seasoned filmmaker by the time he made this film.
Okay, cool. So
that would not have been an excuse. But here's another question I want to ask. Because of that, one of the things that at this point he was known for was his gore and was his gore effects. And people came to his movies for that and for the shock factor, and it's why he pushed it so as far as he did. And so one thing I actually want to ask you, Ryan, and then shoot it over to you, Dan, is Ryan, as kind of the initiative of the show and the one who's seen the fewest horror films, and also is kind of the most, I think we can safely say this, like you're more locked in with modern movies, and older movies tend to bounce off of you more, and especially like older effects, right? Like you're going to call out a shitty old effect if you see one. So this is why I want to throw it to you first. How did the gore in this movie, how did these practical effects, which he was really honing in on for a lot of this movie, whether it was the dog attack, oh, Dickie, bad boy, Dickie.
Yeah.
Whether it was the dog attack with the spiders, whether it was the acid on the face or the crucifixion in the beginning, any of the eye damage that he has in all the Fulci movies. How did those work for you overall? How were the gore effects for you in Fulci?
I think it was kind of hit or miss. There were some that were done very well. I thought that what's her name? That it was like Arthur and Martha.
I think Martha.
Martha.
Yeah,
Martha.
Martha's eye pin. Like, for example, I thought that one was done very well. Like that one's pretty brutal, and also like he doesn't sit on that one as much, but I think like that and the crucifixion both were pretty effective. And like the melting, like the initial, I think both the face melting, the acid of the woman on the floor of the hospital, and then also the initial melting scene in the first scene, both of those were very well done.
The one in the hospital where she's lying on the floor and the vial pours over onto her face, actual sulfuric acid onto a partially clay face. Yeah, they used real acid to create that effect.
Wow, that doesn't feel like you do that today. Oh my god.
Not fucking around. No. Wow. So anyway, sorry, but by all means continue.
Those were done pretty well, but then on the flip side, like they did a lot of like gummy face stuff of like, especially with the wounds of like the whole spider scene felt so cheesy. Like, yeah, like I know, Dan, you closed your eyes, but like also they tried to do And like, it's funny you say I'll call out old effects. They tried to do like you're looking from his perspective, and they put a spider on glass, but they put it so far from the camera that it looks like it's just floating. And you're like, it's meant to be over his eyeball, but it's like just this floating spider that you're like, why are we looking at a floating spider on a glass panel? So like, there's like stuff like that, or the chain wounds, like pretty much anything that they did to like a ripping flesh effect. It looked so gummy compared to like what flesh behaves like none of those, all of those felt lackluster to me. Like I get how they did it, but it like I get why they did it in the terms of like it was probably the closest practical effect they could get, but it felt like they were kind of pulling rubber and then like spraying juice of like pull the thing and then like blood.
Well, they didn't, because they didn't have the kind of chemical compounds and stuff that they have now, like the latex and all the like the added stuff that they have to make the makeup effects now, all of the equipment, all of the science that they have to do it now that make it so realistic, they didn't have. So this is what they had to work with, and that's just what it looked like, you know. But it's interesting to hear that some of it did work for you still, even with that. What about you, Dan? Well, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, even like the guy coming, like I think his name's Bill, the plumber. Like throughout, Bill was very good practically.
Ed, Joe.
Is it Joe?
Joe.
I think I got the list over here.
The plumber.
Joe the plumber. Joe the plumber.
So yeah,
Joe the plumber.
Joe,
the guy that nobody missed, by the way, except his family, who somehow got into the morgue and saw him all sewed up, and they're like, "What?"
Which
that was
also
so weird.
I love the fact
what do
that
y'all do down there in Louisiana?
Our first introduction to Martha is like, I prepared this path specifically for Joe, and I'm like,
she just comes out of the darkness.
That's
just like, who is
shit.
this lady?
Who is this lady? And then like they're like, I don't remember what she has the conversation with Arthur upstairs, and is like, oh, like, have you seen Joe or whatever? And she's like, oh yeah, Joe's downstairs. And it cuts to Joe, and the minute it cut to Joe, I'm like, Joe's fucked. Like Joe's dead. Less than 10 seconds. And then like straight on the face being ripped open. I was just like
thumb in the eye, pushing the eye out of the eye socket, because it's Lucio Fulci, and no one's eyes are safe in Lucio Fulci. Dan Marcha Madness, would you tell me, please, what did you think of the practical effects in this movie?
I really liked them all. I mean, like, I thought they were effective. I think, you know, like Ryan was saying, I feel like if they had been able to do the blood right, because especially in that opening when the chains would rip the skin, like that bothered me. Like, but then it was like clear liquid that was being squirted, and I'm like, well, that's weird. Like, it should be bloody, but it was like, so if there had been blood, I think it would have been a lot more effective in that opening scene. But I mean, most of the time I was cringing, and I was like, this is gross. Like, it's uncomfortable. It works. Yeah, it is uncomfortable to watch it all. So I think it's pretty good.
The sepia tone of that early part kind of works for it too.
I love that sequence.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, maybe I was expecting more red, but you know, and I wasn't really gonna get that. But I feel like it just needed it. But like, yeah, the whole crucifixion scene was just hard, and like throwing that whatever, I guess, boiling cement or whatever it was, like that was just very like, what an opening to get it, and just like, but the chain thing, man, I was really. Like the chains across the face, chains across the body, like it just like it was effective, and I just felt like all of it was working. You know, it was all pretty, like it was I want to say fun to watch, but it kind of was fun to watch. It's like this is cool effects each time. Like I could see why people go to the movies, because they were to see how is he going to take out his people, because like it's very creative in the way that he's taking people out, and that's cool. Like, you know, you're not like, this guy's going to the library, and you're not like, you know what, this dude's gonna get eaten by a bunch of spiders right now. Like, how would you guess that that's gonna happen? You know, like, so it was very, you know, like that was cool. Like,
here come the spiders.
Yeah. So it works for me.
You hit the nail on the head, Dan. I think that's exactly why a lot of people would go to see these movies. That was one of the attractions of them. You know, it wasn't like, hey, I really hope he's got an engaging story about the gates to hell underneath the Louisiana hotel. It's, okay, there's going to be some sort of crazy, creepy framework, and then lots and lots of really gory kills that are going to make me go, peek
but I wanted the portals. I wanted it so bad. I was so
I know, Ryan.
the portals.
Ryan was like, give me the warlocks and the portals and all of that. Well, you kind of get it. You get it, because I personally think the ending to this movie is one of the strongest endings to a Fulci film, and that is when they seem to be unable to escape. Like, they're in the hospital again, and there's zombies everywhere. The dead have come back to life, and you have the classic Fulci, just glacially slow zombies.
Yeah.
Like down there with the tombs of the evil dead monks as being the slowest damn zombies in history. And they're chasing them back down, and they end up somehow back under the hotel, and they realize the only way to go is through the wall, through this portal into the beyond.
Yeah.
And then that last section where they're in this kind of weird purgatory, and then they turn around and they're both blinded with the glass eyes, which actually were glass contacts, by the way. Apparently super uncomfortable.
Ouch.
Full glass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
ouch.
my God.
Boy.
Ugh.
And so they're completely blind in this nether realm, and then it just ends.
Yeah.
Like, that's ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's creepy.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
I think overall it worked. It was just, but like Ryan is saying, and like you even said, like the logic, like it's a lot of cool scenes, cool ideas just kind of mashed together where it's like, well, this doesn't really make sense to me, but it's cool to watch it.
There's
it's like,
no
this is
real
a cool
bridge from thing to thing. It's kind of just like, here's a cool thing. What if we did? What if we did this cool thing? What if all of a sudden the hospital goes to the basement?
Yeah. and that's potentially a criticism, is that, one of the answers to that is it's dream logic. It's just Fulci going for this kind of overall sense of doom, that everyone's just doomed and eventually they're all going to be sucked into this portal or find their way to this portal. And that's the kind of excuse for it. And it's whether you can kind of buy that as being what this movie is, or if you're just like, nah, this is just, he just wanted to make like a couple of cool scenes and the framework is just, there's a portal under this hotel. They'll buy it. So
and there's
that's
six
pretty
more
much
that we never touch on and was maybe for sequels? Question mark. In case you made a bunch of money off of this one. We've got other portals.
We got to have the seven gates to hell. What, not trilogy, what, septology?
I don't even know.
So I watched the Italian language version of this, and I got to tell you, it wasn't much better with the dub because it was really flat and weird. And for some reason, the warlock's name instead of Schweik, which I don't know what it was in your guys' version, but it was Spike in mine, anglicized for some reason into Spike. And I'm like, yeah, that warlock, Spike.
Well, the only one I think who knows in the English version, the only one who knows his name is the blind woman, who is also an accented woman by default. So it's kind of tough to be like she's got, like, Dan, it was kind of like an Eastern European thing that the blind woman had of like Liza. Like,
yeah.
The ghost of Spike. He's in the hotel.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh, wow.
It
was like this kind of like Germanic thing.
Yeah.
This ghost woman that like may or may not exist.
I gotta say, I think I might have preferred the Italian dub because I could see that it wasn't matching their lips, and so I was kind of watching their performances more. Their performances weren't terrible.
They're not great.
But I can see how having a complete dub over their dialogue over their mouths moving would have made their performances even worse. I don't think that Catriona MacColl, who played Liza, has about the emotional depth in this movie of a kiddie pool. She's not given much to do here. But for me, of all the main characters, the really egregious one, and I feel bad for the guy, is David Warbeck as the doctor, John McCabe.
I knew you were going to say the doctor. I knew it.
That guy has never seen a Clint Eastwood squint he would turn down. He was
the
doing
whole movie,
his best.
He's doing this smolder thing.
He is given the stink eye to everything. It was Dr. Squint Eye Medicine Man. And as an actor, he was in line to be James Bond. He was the guy that was it was agreed that he would be James Bond if something ever happened to Roger Moore.
Wow.
This guy. Yeah. And in this movie, I mean, I think in every scene, you know, we're saying that the dub is terrible. Yeah, this would be a fun movie to go back and redub, or like MST3K or something like that.
Yeah.
Every like the running joke on this movie could be that every time he looks at Liza, it's just him going, "You dumb bitch," because that's his expression every time. Is "You stupid bitch." Can't believe you're here right now. Can't believe you're still talking.
Oh my God.
What are you even saying? It makes no sense.
He spends that whole drive to the hospital. I don't remember what the other doctor's name is offhand, but he's like, I need to talk to Hannity or whatever his name is. Don't bother me. I need to go find Hannity.
Yeah. He just hates everybody, but it's especially her. I don't know why. Like there's supposed to be some sort of like connection or whatever between them, but he just is giving her the worst stare. Every time, oh, God damn it, I'm talking to you again.
I just thought that
Gates
like
of hell.
every character, like, they're just like, here's your lines, and they just like, okay, I'm just going to spew them out. Because like from even the smallest one, like even at the poor girl who first lost her dad Joe, and then her mom gets like burned at the acid. At the funeral, the priest is like, be strong or be brave, and then walks away. Like what?
Just leaves.
It's like, be brave, and then walks away. Like she's like a poor orphan now, and you're just like, be brave, bye. Like
you'll be
like, what is happening?
You'll be good, kid.
Yeah.
Well, also speaking of ideas that aren't capitalized on, like this poor girl witnesses death, and then like is like blinded by the death and is corrupted by the evil, and then spend basically the rest of the movie absent up until the big pivotal uprising of the dead, in which case she's just in the morgue and then spends a whole scene being comforted by our leading lady, doesn't act on anything up until they're jumped in the morgue a second time, at which point she's like, now's my moment, and just becomes evil. Like,
I mean, they should have seen it coming.
In the face.
They should have seen it
in the face.
Oh, they blasted her.
They blasted
again,
her head off, dude. Man.
Toxic masculinity MD just says, not today, son of a bitch.
Oh my goodness.
I knew you had no soul all along, redhead. Blam.
She's just like,
God.
It's like they set it up as this really early, like, oh my God, the kid's corrupted. What's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen is what's going to happen. Where it's been the whole movie just moving on without addressing it. And then we're like, oh yeah, we have to do something with the girl. We'll just throw her in at the end. We'll have her attack them.
I've got to ask Dan a question here, and then we're gonna move to roll this towards the end. Dan, did this frustrate you as much as it frustrated me? And Ryan, I would ask you, but it's just the limited number of zombie movies I've known you've seen. I've got to throw this to Dan here.
No, do it.
Did it make you, Dan, as insane as it made me, that this son of a bitch doctor could not shoot a zombie in the head to save his life, even when he saw them drop every time he got a headshot, blip, and they go down, right? That stops him. But he'd go, nope, he's got 12 bullets, and he keeps putting them in the guts. Blam, blam, in the guts. I don't know why they're not going down. I'm perturbed. I'm squinting even harder. Ugh.
I saw it as Fulci like wanted to just have more gore as much as he could have. He's like, I'm just gonna have things plop up here and here, because if I take somebody out with the head and they're down, it's like I'm not gonna be able to have as much fun as like making things plop all over their body. So that was just what I was taking from it. It wasn't really frustrating. It was more just like, what the hell is happening now? I honestly was still so confused because at least I really want movies to be cohesive. And this one was not. So it was just like, so I was just, by the end, I was just like, give it to me. Just throw more. Just throw whatever you got. Just go for it, man.
I'm here for the gore. Sure. All right. Headshots, we don't need them. Give me more gut shots.
Honestly,
that's even a massively rational response, Dan. I hate it.
one step further with that gun. Not only is he like, what I thought the same thing of like he's just shooting all over the place, and then there's the weird glass thing. But they get in the elevator, and so he's like, he runs out of bullets. He hides in the thing. He finds the other doctor. The other doctor gets killed because the window explodes in his face or whatever. He reloads at some point in the room and goes out and shoots again. Runs out of bullets a second time, and they're getting in the elevator, and he starts putting bullets down the barrel of the gun of a revolver before the door closes.
That.
And I'm like,
really?
What are you doing? You're muzzle loading a revolver.
Well, not only that, but the last time he didn't even reload. He just magically had more bullets.
More bullets.
Oh, at least he fiddled with it. I figured it happened off screen. Like I was willing to give them that one, but then he starts putting it down the barrel, and I'm like, what is going on?
What is going on? And, hey, you're supposed to be happy he didn't like musket load it and like tamp it down with some like
right. Pulls out a pen
with some cotton swab.
Oh my.
Luckily, I've got my blunderbuss for these zombies.
Yar.
All right. Well, yar. That's why he's squinting. He's only got one eye.
Me blunderbuss for the zombies in the hospital.
Yeah. You'll never take me to the gates of hell, mateys.
I specialize in leg surgery.
All right, maybe that's why he couldn't shoot him in the head. All right, so guys, let's talk about. I think I already know who's gonna get it. Mike Logan Award. Who did we frickin' hate in this movie? Who were like, fuck that guy? Who was the worst character in the movie? Who gets the Mike Logan Award for The Beyond?
Honestly,
is it?
Go, Ryan. You go.
I have a nomination. Martha.
Really?
Here's the deal, right? Like. there's a bunch of characters. I think that there's arguments for a lot of people here. But Martha specifically, we talk about Martha shows up and it's like, I made this tunnel for the plumber. And you're like, you're sketchy and we have no idea what's up with you. And then we're like, is she evil? She spends most of the movie not doing anything. And then she's just like intentionally ominous. And then she ends up just getting murked. And she like literally the woman who runs the hotel is like, they're both pretty useless. They're not actually a help. We don't know where they came from. We don't know what the thing is. She just kind of sucks through the whole movie.
Yeah, and her son who has something going on with him besides a glandular problem with his level of sweating. But
Yeah.
She has a son?
she has
Yeah, that was his son, right?
Arthur was her son, right?
Martha and Arthur. Yeah, Arthur was their son.
Martha and Arthur.
Oh, I totally read them as siblings the whole movie, so that's news to me. But anyway, my bad. I must have missed that.
Whatever they are. She definitely had the second worst stink face in the movie.
Yeah.
She's just useless, and she's ominous and weird, and doesn't add anything to the plot. So that's my nomination.
She can build floating bridges in floating catwalks. I guess.
Yeah, she's kind of useful.
Just she's great at that.
Oh, also she goes into the basement and like screams after Joe, and then like they just cut away, and then they never address it again. Like she wasn't in danger. She's just fine. She's like, Arthur, Joe. She like hears noises, and they're like, and then she screams, and then we just come back to her, and she's just doing her job later.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
She's like, this is what I get for working over the hotel over hell. This is what I get. Maybe that we're getting into this is why you died territory, but I'm actually gonna say for the Mike Logan Award. I mean, I want to nominate Dr. John McCabe, but he, as much as he looks like he hates doing everything, he actually was fairly effective by the end of the movie. He had kind of that like Italian male character where he's not the main character, but like he spends the second half of the movie just saving the blonde chick and leading her around.
He's not great, but he did things at least.
Yeah. I'm going to nominate the villager who killed Spike or whatever.
The mob in general.
Dude, the mob. What are you guys doing? You're like, how dare you do this horrible witchcraft in our basement? And then they kill him and cause it to happen. You guys are the problem.
Robert De Niro for a second.
No, that's more like this. You know, more little Robert than little Bobby D. What are you doing down in my basement?
And they walk into the room and they all just stand there and nobody says anything. There's like this weird, like they come in force to like intimidate him and they don't. And then like there's like this standoff of silence where they just stare at each other for a second. Like, is anyone gonna do something? Like,
yeah.
Are we really like, gonna?
So are you gonna buy this painting or what?
Yeah. Like,
yeah. Nice painting, actually. Kind of cool.
Mine goes to the I forget his name, but the spider guy that get eaten like.
Oh, the
when
like
he's just smoking,
the architect or whatever.
Yeah, when he's just smoking the pipe all the time, like that poor painter guy is bleeding out on the couch, and he's just sitting there going, "Poor guy, poor guy. Let me smoke my pipe some more. Poor guy. I don't know what to do."
That's a good point.
He's
That's
dying.
a good point. That painter was fucked up, and they were all just sitting there going like, "That sucks." Should we call it? Should we call a doctor? Yeah, I guess so.
I love that she like screams, like she's like, "Where's the doctor?" And then Arthur just comes out of like another area, and he's like, "He's on his way." I was like, "Where's she screaming?"
Yeah, and then
and he comes out the back,
and they just like pick him up and huck him out of the room. He's coughing up blood everywhere, and they're like, "All right, get him out of here."
Let's get him out. Yeah, so the pipe smoking architect guy is just like that scene. I was like, fuck that guy. You're just still smoking your pipe and just watching this guy bleed out. I was like, that's
to
not
be
cool.
fair.
And he keeps going like, "Oh, I'll do this," and she's like, "I don't have the money for that." And he's like, "It's fine."
To be fair, he gets his. He is eaten by a horde of tarantula Muppets.
He is
by the end of the movie. Which brings us to the name of the show. This is why you died. This is gonna be a fun one. Because this is like, this is the kind of movie that we made this show for. Just ridiculous deaths all over the plot. Guys, Dan, this is your movie, man. You take the first one. Tell me why someone died in this movie.
Okay, Joe should not have just been breaking down walls, man. Like, he's a plumber.
Damn it, you took mine.
He should be fixing the water, not like investigating the scene. So when he gets his face ripped off by, it's like, what were you doing? Exploring so much, man.
Okay, I'm going to stand up for my man Joe here because he didn't know he was in a horror movie yet. He was the first guy to go. There was no indications at this point that he was in a horror movie. There's no way he could have known that going down into the underbelly of this hotel was a bad idea. Oh, look, there's some water coming out of the walls, and oh, look, there's a space beyond it. He had no idea that there was a portal to hell and a zombie arm that was going to reach out and crush his face.
He is trying to diagnose the leak.
True.
Yeah, he was being a good plumber, Dan.
All right.
No, it's fine. That was your pick.
For going through he went through the wall. Like that's why he died. So he did
demo. He did initial demo.
No, Dan, you're onto something there. You're right. He's just a plumber, and he decided to start tearing apart her fucking hotel. Yeah, you know what? Right. You're right. You're right, Joe. Fuck that guy. He could deserve to die.
He could have just been like, "Hey, man, you've got a hollow wall and water's coming out of there. If you get someone to break down the wall, I'll deal with the leak."
Oh,
no, yeah, right. To do it himself.
No, he saw. Don't just do what they pay you for, Joe. Come on.
Yeah, Joe.
Ryan, tell me why someone died in Lucio Fulci's The Beyond.
I'm gonna go. So the other doctor was named Harris. I'm gonna go with Dr. Harris. Apparently was standing in front of a air suctioned window that decided to explode inward from a gunshot and pin him to the wall with glass, because that's how windows work when you shoot them. Poor Dr. Harris did not know that he was in a very ridiculous movie.
No, that is how windows work in the beyond.
In the beyond. See? Yes.
In the beyond.
It's true. Poor Dr. Harris.
Yeah, he thought he was just like he was going to shoot out a normal window, but no, that shrapnel was fucking intense. That shrapnel was from
glass.
The beyond. All right, I'm going to give mine. I'm going to give mine to Emily, to the blind woman from the past who's now in the present, and I think that was who that was, right? Emily, that was her name.
Well, Emily's the main chick, I thought.
That was Liza, right?
Oh, you're right.
Liza was the main chick.
You're right. You're right.
Okay. It's been a couple days since I watched the movie.
Emily, you're right.
Yeah, Leah. The one she found on the Lake Pontchartrain Expressway. That one, the blind lady with the dog. She died because she didn't follow responsible leash laws. That dog, if Dickie had been on a leash, she would not have had the problem of that dog tearing her throat out and drinking her blood. You know, and especially when you're dealing with a very intelligent, high energy dog that needs a lot of exercise and attention, like a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Like, you really have to know what you're doing with the dog like that. And obviously she was just
point.
She had not trained that dog well. I recommend pit bulls. They're a much more mellow breed. So that is why Emily died in the beyond.
One note with Emily specifically. Can we talk about her random urn collection? She had so many urns. In every scene that she's in her living room, there's like urns on her piano and urns on the table and urns over here. It's like she's got this like pottery collection in her house as a blind woman.
You don't?
Like, what is with this woman in urns, man? She just got
just
giant
off
pots.
Off camera over here, I have nothing but pots and vases.
Pots. An entire room of just glassware and pottery.
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
Yeah, filled with the ashes of the undead.
He has one for each
beyond.
prompt. He goes and he pulls his prompt from a random jar.
Yes, my bucket. I have 666 vases over here. Each one with a prompt in it. By the
Each
way,
episode I break one and see what I get, like a piñata.
I think if there's one way I'm going to sum up this movie before we move to the end of the show here, and we give the Scully Awards to this, the number of the haunted room where Schweik lived, right? What was the number of the room, boys? Do you remember?
36.
36?
36. What does that mean? What is that in reference to? I think
3 sixes?
3 sixes. 3 sixes. 3.
Oh my
the
goodness.
number 6. 666. Big brain moment. Bump, bump,
Big brain. Big brain.
It honestly,
Wow.
but that's.
Look at Ryan's face. He's just like,
I
wow.
want to say
Wow.
that kind of sums up the level of like deeper meaning in this movie, where like
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that
Brilliant.
they would do. That's the kind of thing that they would do and be like, oh yeah, that's deep.
Really
Let's do
deep,
that.
man.
Whoa. He's in the room of 3 sixes. Dun 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 dun.
Dude, 2 puffs and a pass. Come on.
Oh. Lucio Fulci was hitting that wacky tobacco. All right, boys, let's give a Scully rating to Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. Daniel Marcha Madness. This is your movie. You chose it. You get to lead us in. What was your Scully rating for this movie?
Yeah. So even though I said that I enjoyed it, it's still going to be kind of low.
You tricked me.
No, but I mean, I think I was contemplating if I should go as high as like a 7, but I think I'm gonna drop it down to a 6.5. It's not something that I'd like would like I'm dying to watch again, but I mean, I'm glad I was introduced to Fulci this way. It does get me interested in more Fulci. It's just that like none of it made sense to me. Like it wasn't cohesive. It was a bunch of ideas. Acting's terrible. The lines are even worse. Like, I love the painter right before he died. He's like, I'll have it done by tomorrow. Bye. I'm like, that's the weirdest way to like say bye. It was just like the lines were just being like spewed out so that they could get through the scene. So that really just knocked it down a peg for me. But I did say towards the beginning of the show how like I could see elements that really reminded me of newer stuff. And the opening sequence kind of reminded me of the ending of Sinners. If you've seen Sinners, with everybody like how it had like the KKK guys arriving and coming towards this one location. That kind of like that scenery with the pitchforks, like that kind of had this, not pitchforks, but the burning torches.
The torches.
Yeah.
There was that.
The torches.
There was one scene in particular where I was like, that reminded me so much of Barbarian. I know, Ryan, you probably haven't seen that movie.
Nope.
But the expressway scene where she's driving, it went from extreme violence to this big bright shot of a car driving. And that reminds me so much of the introduction of part 2 of Barbarian, or chapter 2, where we see Justin Long's character. Like that cut, I was like, man, that reminded me so much of Barbarian. And so like I wouldn't be surprised if like in Zach Kreger's mind or his editor's mind, like that was something. But there was those elements, and then throughout the whole thing, a lot of like American Horror Story, I feel like could have potentially borrowed from it, especially the first season and even like the witch season and the houses and stuff. It just seems like elements of what he did in the past kind of have seeped into the consciousness of horror creators currently.
Yeah. I think
So-
I think it's very safe to say that Fulci, just in general, is a very influential director on a lot of horror directors. I think you're totally on the money with American Horror Story, and certainly like and a lot of the guys you were mentioning. I think it's very likely. Yeah.
But so to sum that up, I'm gonna go 6.5.
Okay. All right. A 6.5, respectable score. Ryan Ross live. Your first time watching a Fulci movie. Your first time watching The Beyond. What did you think of this movie?
So, as I said, I really wanted to like this movie. The intro really hooked me.
Oh no.
I really liked, like, it felt like that old horror, like the old cartoon horror of like the lightning and the book and like the prophecy and the like portals to hell. Like, I was really into it. And for the like, I got through the whole intro and was still pretty hooked. And then we started getting into the movie, and it just started going all over the place, and it lost it. It never capitalized on a lot of those things. And there are still things that were done well. I think some of the cinematography was very cool. Some of the rack focuses, some of the shots early on, the angles that they chose were really good. But then they would also have shots that were like super shaky, and it felt like it was just really disorienting. We talked about like there were cool ideas. I loved the portal to hell. I thought the ending was a cool concept, like this almost like Fields of Asphodel purgatory place was like a cool vision of the beyond. Like, I was into that. But the acting's bad. The dialogue is bad. The ADR is bad. And like, even just the like there's almost no logic to a lot of how these things happen. And the sound design was so distracting. Not just the music, but specifically one of the moments that like really pulled me out is when the little girl was in the hospital right before she goes and sees her mom get dumped on by acid, and they have that cart that screeches that's like really meant to, like, it's really on the nose, like this is meant to make you feel uncomfortable and put you on edge, but they just sit on this like screeching cart that's so loud, and so it's not mixed at all, and it's just like, oh my god, well, why are you rolling this metal screeching cart through this hallway, and that's just there to bother you? Like, and so for a lot of the movie, I wanted to give it a 5. It got, by the end, especially with how wild things got and like the hospital scene and stuff, I had to bump it down to a 4.
Wow.
What?
There's just ways in this, there's cool ideas, but there's so many ways in which this movie just fails to be good and like is actually glaringly bad. It has to be a 4.
So low. Oh my god.
It's not as bad as Cannibal Ferox, and like there's elements, but like, come on, like there's 6 tarantulas in a library that no one's ever noticed that come out and crawl out and eat a guy's face for no reason, and 4 of them are puppets. Like, come on.
Man,
it's a 4.
Brutal. Absolutely.
Ouch.
Brutal from
Wow.
Ryan Ross live. No love.
It's
for
not
Lucio
a good movie.
Fulci's
I wanted it to
The
be
Beyond.
good.
Oh,
I wanted it to be good.
All right. Well, that's actually closer to what I kind of suspected coming into the show.
Oh my
but
gosh.
for me, it's definitely a nostalgia thing for me. It's definitely something to do with just kind of seeing a lot of movies of that era. A lot of the stuff that you guys can't let fly. I'm just like, yeah, that's part of these kinds of movies. What you expect. And frankly, this is on the better side of a lot of these movies. A lot of the Italian horror films, a lot of Fulci's films, a lot of
Ryan would not like any of them.
there's a lot of the exploitation films of this time, the grindhouse films of this time that this is a work of art compared next to. So, and I definitely think it's one of Fulci's better films as well. I've never been the most enormous Fulci acolyte myself. I love him. I love his movies, but in the grand picture of horror movies, there's a lot of movies that are just a lot better. That being said, I've been wrestling whether to do a 7.5 or a 7 for The Beyond. And I think I'm going to land on a 7 just because looking down my list of movies, that's just where it falls. It's not a 7.5 like Inside. It's not a 7.5. Like Pontypool is a 7.5. I think the highest I'd give this would be a 7. And I might even, but it's tough because I want to rate it higher because I do have a soft spot for this movie. But I also kind of agree with you guys. There's a lot of things about this movie that just have not aged well. And as I said before, I don't always know if I can say it's because Fulci's such an auteur that we're getting this feeling and these things don't make sense. He's trying to do something bigger, or if it's just he's like, whatever, we're gonna shoot it and we'll fix it in post. So, and I agree, the dub is a massive problem. The dub is whatever dub you watch is a massive problem for this movie. And really takes it down. If they had gotten a good dub, I think this would have improved the movie immensely. But there you have it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Low score for Fulci's The Beyond. Statman, what are our stats on this one here?
We averaged to a 6, which I think is pretty fair, honestly.
That's fair.
It's like,
okay,
it's a movie. It passes. It's not a great movie, but a 6 is a passing score. It's a D. I think a 6 is probably fair, average through.
Well, outvoted again, but that's okay because we're going to have plenty more times to discuss other movies on this show, including next episode. Dan, you are now out of a prompt. We've got to find another prompt for you. And then Ryan, you and I need to discuss our prompts and the movies that we have coming up on this show. I'm sitting on the prompt missing, which I will reveal in 2 episodes. And then Ryan, you've got to reveal your prompt, which is, what's your prompt we're sitting on?
Electricity.
So we're going to find out what Ryan has chosen for electricity shortly. But Dan, you have your bucket of the beast there.
It's so spooky.
It's a spooky bucket.
Season.
It is.
Yes.
Here we go. Okay.
What you got there? Dig in.
All right. I'm pulling one out. It's very tiny. I cut these very small. I got one.
You're good with a knife.
Yet. Oh my gosh.
He looks happy.
What was that wink?
I'm very happy because there's a couple movies that I had already had in mind that if I got something similar, I would try to make this fit. But I have Time.
Ooh,
Time.
That's a great prompt.
Oh.
Yeah. So I already have a few movies in mind in my head that I was going to try. So I just got to decide what I want to land on. But yep.
Amityville 4, It's All About Time?
Perhaps? Oh, no. No. Unfortunately, no. Sorry, we're not going down that hole. I'm going to have some more fun. Maybe with some playing around with time. Maybe some loops might be involved. We'll see.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited that I picked that one.
You have 2 weeks.
That's a good one.
You have 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So marinate on it, and then we will find out what you're going to do in 2 shows from now. But now it comes the big reveal from Ryan Ross Live. It is your time. You have electricity. What are we going to watch on the next episode of This Is Why You Died?
So I'm going to give a shout out to my original direction that I was unfortunately unable to find a satisfying movie to pick for, because my first inclination with electricity was I thought, we've talked about, I play Dead by Daylight. There is a killer in Dead by Daylight that is an shock therapy doctor. And I thought going down an electric shock therapy horror direction would be very cool. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of movies that do electroshock therapy well and or really capitalize it in a horror direction. There are a couple, but none of them really seem to strike my fancy. I was struggling to pick. And so I ended up kind of adapting the direction into more of a electric shock reanimation direction. And there is a movie that is coming to Netflix that is currently in limited runs in theaters. That is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. That's supposed to be based off of the books. So we will be watching the 2025 Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein, starring Oscar Isaac.
Ryan,
this is the best choice you've made this show so far. Like this, it's fantastic. Like,
I do Silence of the Lambs, so
he's had some pretty true. He's had some pretty good picks. This is an exciting one. It's a very exciting one. The previews for this look incredible.
Yeah,
and
I'm a big Oscar Isaac fan, so I'm interested just to see that alone.
Dude, yeah, he looks fantastic. And I have to say, here's the cool thing about that choice is that we are all in LA, and right now there is actually the movie's actually being shown in theaters, not on Netflix. We can go see this in theaters. There's a theater up the street from me showing it in 35 millimeter. There's a lot of that are showing it in standard digital. So we can actually see this in the theater, and come back and review it.
Ooh.
And that means it's coming out the week that everyone else will be able to see it for Netflix. That's a fantastic call. This is going to be awesome.
I think there are showings throughout the country in major cities. So if you're in a major city, check out to see if there's a chance. Because I think you have about a week to see it in theaters before the episode comes out. If you want to try and catch it, they are doing screenings in major city theaters across the country.
They had
like a limited run.
They had a showing at the Egyptian here that sold out immediately. That Guillermo del Toro and everyone did a Q&A after, and I wanted to go see it so bad. Yeah,
that would have been cool.
And then the guy who sits next to me at work came back with an IMAX poster of it. I was ready to kill him for it. But
I haven't even seen the poster, I don't think, actually.
He knows me. Anyway, but all right, so that's a fantastic call. Frankenstein, the 2025 Frankenstein. We're going to be able to talk about the history of Frankenstein. We're going to be able to compare it to this movie and the book and everything. Oh, that's a great call. This is going to be a very exciting episode coming up next week. But in the meantime, boys, Dan, can we get a shout out to our social media? Can we get a shout out to all the links everyone can find us at, please?
Beacons.ai/TIWYD pod is where you can get. You can go to our Patreon. You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us anywhere you can get the podcast. You can buy some of our cool merch. I'm always wearing this beanie. It doesn't come off my head because I got mice stuck under here. If you don't know that story, listen to some past episodes with my battle with the mice. But yes, please go visit and support. We'd be so thankful.
Yeah, that's and we are on YouTube now. Full episodes. If you're one of our OG podcast listeners, you can find us on YouTube now. Go check it out. Find us on social media. All of that. Beacons.ai/TIWYD pod. Boys, any last words before we head towards the exits of the theater? Or shall we?
Thank you guys for listening. We love you and appreciate you. Or watching. If you're watching. Hi, YouTube.
And patrons, stick around. Of course, we do have our extended editions now where we continue the show beyond where we sign off right now. So check that out over on Patreon.
I see what you did
there. Of course. Oh, you know. But boys, we're going to say goodbye. Everybody out there, thank you so much again. Check us out. Come back next week where we'll be doing Frankenstein from 2025. For Dan Marcha Madness, for Ryan Ross Live, I am Sir Ian Dangerous. We will see you next time right here on
This Is Why You Die.